Have you ever wondered what could frighten a Viking more than charging into battle? These were people who sailed into storms, fought with axes, and faced death without blinking. They believed that dying bravely in combat could earn them a place in Valhalla. But when the sun disappeared, even the bravest Viking thought twice before stepping into the darkness. Why? What could possibly be hiding in the night that warriors feared more than enemy armies? The answer isn't what most people expect. It wasn't just wolves. It wasn't just the freezing cold. It was something much older, something they believed was always watching. Tonight, we're stepping into the darkest side of Viking life. And trust me, you wouldn't want to be outside after sunset. When most people imagine Vikings, they picture fearless warriors, huge ships, steel axes, burning villages, epic battles. Movies make them look like they feared absolutely nothing. But real Vikings lived in a world that was completely different from ours. There were no streetlights, no flashlights, no phones. Once the sun disappeared, the world changed completely. Darkness wasn't just an inconvenience. It became another world. A world where strange sounds echoed through the forest, where every moving shadow looked alive, where even familiar paths became dangerous. For Vikings, night wasn't simply the end of the day. It was the beginning of uncertainty. And uncertainty was terrifying. Imagine standing outside your wooden house. The sun has just vanished behind the mountains. The only light comes from a small fire beside you. Beyond that tiny circle of light, everything is black. Not city darkness, not suburban darkness, real darkness, the kind where you can't even see your own hand. Every crack of a branch sounds like footsteps. Every gust of wind feels like someone whispering. Your imagination begins filling in the blanks. Today, we know these sounds have natural explanations, but over 1,000 years ago, people didn't. And when you don't understand something, you often create stories to explain it. That's exactly what the Vikings did. Their mythology was filled with creatures that became far more dangerous after sunset. One of the most terrifying was the Draugr. A Draugr wasn't simply a ghost. It was believed to be a dead warrior who climbed out of its grave. Unlike zombies from movies, Draugr were intelligent. They were incredibly strong. Some stories claimed they could grow larger than humans. Others said they could shape-shift into animals. Worst of all, they hated the living. If someone disturbed their burial mound, the Draugr might hunt them down. At night, every lonely hill could hide one. Every ancient grave became a place to avoid. Even brave warriors preferred taking longer routes than walking near old burial grounds after sunset. Then there were the trolls. Modern cartoons make trolls look funny. Viking trolls were anything but. These creatures lived deep inside mountains and forests. Many stories warned children never to wander into the woods after dark. A troll might capture them, or worse, they might never return at all. Were trolls real? Almost certainly not. But the forests were real, and forests at night can be incredibly dangerous. A simple fall, a hidden cliff, a wild animal. People disappeared without knowing what happened. The easiest explanation became monsters. The forests of Scandinavia were enormous. Dense pine trees blocked much of the moonlight. Even during the day, some places felt mysterious. At night, they became almost impossible to navigate. A Viking traveling alone risked becoming hopelessly lost. Without roads or maps, a wrong turn could be deadly. The cold made everything worse. Scandinavian winters weren't just uncomfortable. They could kill. Temperatures dropped quickly after sunset. A traveler caught outside without shelter might never see morning. So when legends warned people not to wander at night, those stories actually kept people alive. Fear became survival. The Vikings also believed that supernatural beings weren't limited to monsters. There were elves, spirits, hidden people, powerful beings that shared the world with humans. Many believed these beings became more active after dark. Some traditions warned against speaking loudly outside at night. Others advised avoiding certain hills or rivers after sunset. You never knew who or what might be listening. Respecting the unseen world wasn't considered superstition. It was simply common sense. At least, that's what people believed. Even their gods reminded them that darkness carried power. Odin himself constantly searched for hidden knowledge. He sacrificed an eye for wisdom. He hung from the world tree for 9 nights. Night often represented mystery, secrets, transformation, things beyond ordinary understanding. The Vikings respected courage, but they also respected forces larger than themselves. Charging into battle was honorable. Ignoring the unknown was foolish. There was a big difference. One animal made nighttime even more unsettling. The wolf. Scandinavia had real wolves. Large packs hunted through forests during winter. Hungry wolves could attack livestock, sometimes even people. Hearing distant howls while walking alone was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Then mythology added another layer. The monstrous wolf Fenrir. According to Norse myths, Fenrir would eventually break free during Ragnarok. His power was so great that even the gods feared him. Imagine hearing wolves howling in total darkness, while believing one of the greatest monsters in existence also took the form of a wolf. Suddenly, every howl felt much more personal. Then came the weather. Storms arrived with little warning. Heavy rain soaked clothing. Strong winds extinguished fires. Snow erased footprints. Fog swallowed entire landscapes. At night, these conditions became deadly. A person could lose their direction within minutes. Without modern equipment, survival depended on experience and luck. Nature itself often became the greatest monster. One fascinating detail is how Viking homes reflected these fears. Families stayed together after sunset. Longhouses weren't just places to sleep. They became islands of safety. The fire burned in the center. People repaired tools, cooked food, told stories, sang songs. Children listened as elders passed down myths. Many of those frightening stories weren't only entertainment. They were lessons. Don't wander too far. Respect nature. Stay close to home. Listen to your family. Sometimes the scariest legends carried the most practical advice. Have you noticed something interesting? Almost every terrifying Viking belief had a real-world purpose. Monsters discouraged dangerous travel. Ghosts protected burial sites. Forest spirits kept children from getting lost. Night became associated with caution. The myths weren't just random fantasies. They acted like survival manuals disguised as stories. Without schools, without science, without written warning signs, stories became the safest way to teach people. But here's something even stranger. Despite fearing the night, the Vikings also admired it. The stars guided sailors across enormous distances. The northern lights filled the sky with incredible colors. Imagine seeing shimmering green lights dance across the heavens without knowing what caused them. Many believed they carried supernatural meaning. The same darkness that inspired fear also inspired wonder. Night wasn't simply evil. It was mysterious, beautiful, powerful, and completely beyond human control. Even today, many of those old fears still exist. Have you ever walked through a forest after dark, heard a strange noise, started imagining something following you? Your brain is doing exactly what Viking brains did over 1,000 years ago. Humans evolved to notice danger in darkness. It's a survival instinct. Our ancestors who stayed alert at night survived. Those instincts never disappeared. We just have better flashlights now. So, were Vikings actually cowards after sunset? Not at all. They faced incredible dangers every day. But they understood something important. Real courage isn't pretending nothing is frightening. Real courage is respecting danger and surviving it. Their greatest enemy wasn't always another warrior. Sometimes it was the darkness itself, a darkness filled with wolves, freezing temperatures, unknown sounds, ancient myths, and an imagination powerful enough to turn every shadow into something waiting to strike. Maybe that's why night frightened them more than battle. Because in battle, at least you could see your enemy. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden side of Viking history, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the ancient world. And tell us in the comments if you lived 1,000 years ago with nothing but firelight to protect you. Would you dare walk into a Viking forest alone at midnight?
Have you ever looked at an ancient object and thought, wait, how did people thousands of years ago make this? Here's the strange part. With all our modern technology, giant factories, lasers, and supercomputers, there are still ancient inventions we can't fully recreate today. Some were stronger than modern materials. Some survived for thousands of years. Some were built so precisely that experts still argue about how they were made. Were ancient civilizations smarter than we give them credit for? Or have we simply forgotten knowledge that once changed the world? Today, we're uncovering the lost ancient technologies that continue to puzzle scientists. And trust me, the last one might completely change how you see history. Imagine trying to build something that lasts for over 2,000 years. Most modern buildings struggle to survive a few hundred. Yet one ancient material refuses to disappear. Ancient Roman concrete. Look around Rome today. Massive harbors, bridges, aqueducts, the Pantheon. Many are still standing after nearly 2,000 years. Meanwhile, modern concrete often starts cracking after just decades. So what's the secret? For years, scientists believed the Romans simply mixed volcanic ash with lime. That was true, but not the whole story. Recent research found tiny white chunks inside the concrete. At first, people thought they were mistakes. They weren't. Those chunks actually helped the concrete heal itself. When cracks formed, rainwater reacted with the lime, creating new minerals that sealed the crack naturally. The concrete literally repaired itself. Imagine highways that fix their own potholes, buildings that become stronger over time. The Romans somehow figured this out centuries before modern engineering, and we're only now beginning to understand it. But that's just the beginning, because the next mystery isn't about concrete. It's about metal that simply refuses to rust. Picture an iron pillar standing outside. Year after year. Summer heat, heavy rain, humidity, for over 1,600 years. Now imagine almost no rust. That's exactly what happened with the iron pillar of Delhi. It's made from nearly pure iron. Normally, pure iron rusts quickly. So why didn't this one? Scientists studied it for decades. They discovered tiny amounts of phosphorus inside the metal. Combined with India's climate, this created a protective layer that kept rust away. But here's the fascinating part. Ancient blacksmiths probably didn't even know the chemistry. They simply perfected a process through generations of experience. Knowledge passed from master to apprentice. Without chemistry textbooks, without laboratories, just observation, trial, and centuries of practice. Sometimes experience becomes a technology all on its own. But what if the greatest lost technology wasn't metal? It was light. Imagine entering a palace over 2,000 years ago. Sunlight shines through colorful glass windows. The room glows with deep reds, brilliant blues, rich greens. Now imagine trying to recreate those exact colors today. It's surprisingly difficult. Ancient Roman glassmakers created colors that modern experts still struggle to duplicate perfectly. Even stranger, some ancient glass changes color depending on the light. Take the famous Lycurgus cup. Viewed from the front, it appears green. Place a light behind it. It suddenly turns bright red. How? Because the glass contains tiny particles of gold and silver. They're so incredibly small, thousands of times thinner than a human hair. Today we call this nanotechnology. The Romans obviously didn't know that word. Yet somehow, they accidentally, or intentionally, created one of history's earliest examples of it. Sometimes ancient craftsmen achieved amazing results, without fully understanding why their methods worked. Which raises a huge question. How many discoveries have humans made, only to forget them later? Now let's travel to Egypt. You see enormous stone blocks, some weigh over 70 tons. That's heavier than many modern tanks. Today we'd use giant cranes, powerful trucks, computer-controlled equipment. But the ancient Egyptians had none of that. So how did they move them? Nobody knows for certain. Researchers have many ideas. Wooden sleds, wet sand to reduce friction, ramps, thousands of workers pulling together. Experiments show these methods could work. But there's still debate over the exact techniques. And that's what makes the pyramids so fascinating. They're not impossible. They're simply an incredible engineering achievement that we're still trying to fully understand. The mystery isn't magic. It's human ingenuity. And speaking of giant stones, the next mystery becomes even stranger. Scattered across Peru are walls built by the Inca. At first glance, they look ordinary. Then you get closer. Each stone fits perfectly against the next. No cement, no mortar, not even room for a sheet of paper. Some stones have 12, or even more sides, each one shaped to match its neighbors perfectly. Earthquakes regularly shake this region. Modern buildings collapse. These ancient walls often survive. Why? Because the stones can move slightly during earthquakes, then settle right back into place. It's like a giant stone puzzle designed to flex instead of break. Even today, creating joints this perfect by hand would require incredible skill. The Inca left no detailed instruction manuals, only the stones themselves. Silent evidence of craftsmanship almost beyond belief. But if perfectly carved stone sounds impressive, wait until you hear about a weapon that changed the ancient world, then vanished forever. For centuries, one type of steel became legendary. Damascus steel. Warriors prized its swords above all others. People claimed they could slice silk floating in the air, or cut through weaker blades. Whether those stories are exaggerated or not, the blades were undeniably extraordinary. Their beautiful flowing patterns became famous. Modern scientists examined surviving swords. Inside, they found incredibly complex microscopic structures. Some researchers even identified tiny carbon nanotube-like formations. The original manufacturing process, however, disappeared. The special minds were exhausted. The techniques were lost. The craftsmen died. Today, blacksmiths can create steels with similar performance. They can imitate the patterns, but reproducing the exact original process remains incredibly difficult. Sometimes, technology disappears not because it's impossible, but because the chain of knowledge breaks. Once enough generations are lost, the secret disappears with them. And that brings us to one of history's biggest mysteries. A machine so advanced, it seems centuries ahead of its time. In 1901, divers discovered an ancient shipwreck near a small Greek island. Among the treasures, they found what looked like a lump of corroded bronze. For decades, nobody paid much attention. Then X-rays revealed something unbelievable. Hundreds of tiny gears, hidden inside. This became known as the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient mechanical computer, over 2,000 years old. Turn a handle, and it could predict the movement of planets, track eclipses, follow the calendar, possibly even predict the dates of important athletic games. Nothing else this complex would appear again for over 1,000 years. Think about that. History books often describe technological progress as a straight line. But this machine tells a different story. Sometimes humanity climbs, then falls, then climbs again. Knowledge isn't guaranteed to survive. It has to be protected, shared, and remembered. Otherwise, even incredible inventions can disappear beneath the waves of history. So why were these technologies lost? Was it because ancient people lacked intelligence? Not at all. Often the opposite was true. Knowledge lived inside skilled craftsmen, not books. If a city burned, if an empire collapsed, if a workshop disappeared, entire technologies could vanish in a single generation. Today, we store information on servers, cloud backups, digital archives. Ancient civilizations stored it inside people. And people don't live forever. That's why history is filled with inventions that seem to appear, disappear, and then be rediscovered centuries later. Maybe future civilizations will one day study our world the same way, looking at our technology, wondering how we built it. The biggest lesson from these lost technologies isn't that ancient people had magical powers. It's that human creativity has always been extraordinary. Across thousands of years, people solved impossible problems using the tools they had. Some of their secrets survived, others faded into history, and some may still be waiting to be rediscovered. The next great breakthrough might not come from inventing something completely new. It could come from finally understanding something very old. Which ancient mystery amazed you the most? The self-healing Roman concrete, the rust-proof iron pillar, the mysterious Damascus steel, or the ancient computer hidden inside a shipwreck? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed exploring the forgotten wonders of history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure into the past. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the future is hidden inside the oldest stories.
The ancient city that was forgotten for 2,000 years. Imagine building one of the greatest cities on Earth, a city filled with giant temples, beautiful streets, and thousands of people. Now imagine that city suddenly disappearing from history. Not destroyed, not erased, just forgotten. For nearly 2,000 years, nobody knew where it was. Then one incredible discovery changed everything. This is the story of the ancient city that vanished from the world and remained hidden for centuries. Picture a vast empire stretching across mountains, valleys, and forests. Long before Europeans arrived in South America, a powerful civilization known as the Inca ruled a huge territory. They built roads that crossed mountains. They connected distant cities. They created one of the most impressive civilizations in human history. But among all their cities, one would become the greatest mystery of them all. A city hidden high in the clouds. A city that would disappear from history. The story begins in the Andes Mountains of present-day Peru. Imagine steep cliffs rising into the sky, thick forests covering the mountainsides, narrow paths winding through the landscape. High above the valleys stood a magnificent city. Stone buildings covered the mountain ridges. Terraces climbed the slopes like giant staircases. Temples reflected the sunlight. The city overlooked breathtaking views in every direction. This place was known today as Machu Picchu, but for centuries, almost nobody outside the region knew it existed. Historians believe Machu Picchu was built during the 1400s. At that time, the Inca Empire was growing rapidly. The city may have been a royal retreat. Some experts think it was a religious center. Others believe it served several important purposes at once. What makes Machu Picchu especially remarkable is its construction. The Incas built enormous stone walls without using mortar. The stones fit together so perfectly that even a knife blade can barely slide between them. Think about that. Workers accomplished this hundreds of years ago without modern machines. Even today, engineers admire their skill. Then something strange happened. The city was abandoned. No one knows exactly why. Some historians think disease spread through the region. Others believe political changes caused people to leave. Perhaps several factors worked together. Whatever happened, the city slowly became empty. Buildings remained standing. Terraces remained intact. Temples still faced the sky. But the people were gone, and nature began taking over. Trees grew. Vines spread. The jungle slowly swallowed the city. Year after year, century after century, until it almost disappeared. Meanwhile, dramatic events were unfolding across South America. Spanish conquistadors arrived. They searched for gold and wealth. Many Inca cities were discovered. Many records were destroyed. Entire chapters of history were lost. Yet somehow, Machu Picchu escaped their attention. The hidden city remained tucked away among the mountains, invisible to the outside world, protected by distance, terrain, and dense vegetation. As generations passed, stories faded, maps disappeared, knowledge vanished. The city slipped into legend. Imagine standing in the year 1700 or 1800. Somewhere in the world, people are discussing famous ancient civilizations. Egypt, Greece, Rome. Yet high in the Peruvian mountains sits an extraordinary city that almost nobody knows exists. It waits silently, hidden among clouds and forests, waiting for someone to find it again. Then came the moment that changed everything. In the early 1900s, an American explorer named Hiram Bingham became fascinated by lost Inca sites. He traveled through Peru searching for clues. He crossed difficult terrain. He followed stories told by local residents. Many people had heard rumors about ruins hidden in the mountains, but no one knew exactly what would be found. The search continued. The mystery deepened. Then one day, everything changed. Guided by local farmers and a young boy familiar with the area, Bingham climbed a steep mountain path. The journey was not easy. Rain fell. Vegetation covered the trail. The mountain seemed determined to keep it secret. Finally, the group reached the ruins. What they saw was astonishing. Stone walls, ancient staircases, terraces stretching across the mountainside, buildings emerging from thick vegetation. A forgotten city stood before them, hidden for centuries, preserved by isolation, waiting to be seen again. Bingham realized he had found something extraordinary. Photographs were taken. Studies began. News spread around the world. People were amazed. How could an entire city remain hidden for so long? How could such incredible structures survive centuries of abandonment? The discovery captured imaginations everywhere. Suddenly, the lost city became one of archaeology's greatest treasures. But the mystery wasn't over. In fact, many questions remain unanswered today. Why was Machu Picchu built exactly where it stands? Why was it abandoned? How many people lived there? What ceremonies took place within its temples? Archaeologists continue searching for answers. Every new discovery reveals another piece of the puzzle. Yet some secrets remain hidden, and that mystery is part of what makes Machu Picchu so fascinating. Another remarkable feature is its engineering. The region experiences heavy rainfall. Without proper planning, landslides could destroy the city. Yet the Incas designed advanced drainage systems. Water flowed through channels. Terraces helped stabilize the slopes. Foundations supported the structures. These innovations helped the city survive for centuries. Even modern experts study these techniques. The builders clearly understood their environment. Their knowledge was far ahead of its time. Today, millions of visitors travel to Machu Picchu. They hike mountain trails. They explore ancient pathways. They admire stone walls built hundreds of years ago. Many visitors describe the experience as unforgettable. Clouds drift across the mountains, sunlight illuminates the ruins. The city appears almost magical. It is easy to understand why people are captivated by it. Standing there feels like stepping into another world, a world that nearly vanished forever. Think about how close history came to losing this place. If vegetation had completely covered the ruins, if explorers had never searched the mountains, if local knowledge had disappeared, the city might still be hidden today. One of humanity's greatest achievements could have remained unknown. That possibility makes the story even more incredible. Machu Picchu reminds us that history still holds secrets. Not every mystery has been solved. Not every ancient site has been discovered. Somewhere in the world, there may be other forgotten cities waiting to be found, hidden beneath forests, buried beneath sand, concealed by mountains, waiting patiently for someone to uncover them. So the next time you think we know everything about the past, remember this story. A magnificent city stood hidden for nearly 2,000 years. Nature protected it. Time concealed it. History almost forgot it. But eventually, the lost city was found again, and its story continues to inspire millions of people around the world. What do you think is the greatest unsolved mystery of the ancient world? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible mysteries, lost civilizations, and forgotten stories from history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure. 5 morning habits that will change your life. What if I told you that your entire day is decided before breakfast? It sounds crazy, but think about it. Some people wake up feeling focused, motivated, and full of energy. Others wake up already stressed, tired, and rushing out the door. The difference isn't luck, it's habits. Tiny actions during the first hour after waking up can completely change how your brain works for the rest of the day. And here's the surprising part. None of these habits require expensive equipment. They don't take hours, and anyone can start today. Let's discover the 5 morning habits that can genuinely change your life. Your brain is different in the morning. Right after waking up, your mind is fresh. Your attention hasn't been stolen by messages, emails, or endless scrolling. Scientists often call this one of the most valuable mental windows of the day. Whatever you do during this time sends your brain a powerful message. Today will be productive, or today will be chaos. Imagine your mind as wet cement. The first actions leave the deepest footprints. That's why successful mornings often lead to successful days. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes. What's the first thing most people touch every morning? Their phone. Just one notification, then another. Suddenly, 20 minutes disappear. Your brain goes from peaceful to overloaded before you've even gotten out of bed. Social media trains your brain to react instead of lead. Instead of choosing your day, you're letting everyone else choose it for you. So, what's the better choice? Let's begin with habit number 1. After sleeping for 7 or 8 hours, your body is slightly dehydrated. Even mild dehydration can make you feel tired. It can slow your thinking, and it can reduce your focus. That's why one simple glass of water can make such a big difference. Think of your body like a plant. After a long night, it needs water before it can grow. Some people even add a slice of lemon. Others prefer plain water. The important part isn't the recipe, it's consistency. Before coffee, before breakfast, before your phone, drink water first. Seems too simple. The next habit is even more powerful. You don't need a gym. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't even need 30 minutes. Just move. Stretch your arms. Walk around your room. Do a few squats. Dance if you want. Movement wakes up your muscles, but it also wakes up your brain. Exercise increases blood flow. More blood means more oxygen. More oxygen means better thinking. Have you ever noticed how ideas appear while walking? That's not an accident. Your brain loves movement. Even 5 minutes is enough to tell your body, it's time to wake up. But what if your mind is still full of worries? That's where habit number 3 comes in. Life is noisy. Phones ring. Cars drive by. People talk. Notifications never stop. Your brain rarely gets a break. So, before the world starts shouting, give yourself 5 quiet minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Pay attention to your breathing. That's all. You don't have to become a meditation expert. You don't need perfect thoughts. Even sitting quietly helps your brain reset. Think of it like restarting a computer. Everything becomes smoother afterward. Many highly successful people protect this quiet time every morning, not because it's magical, but because it helps them think clearly. And clear thinking leads to better decisions. Now you're awake, you're calm, but there's one thing still missing: direction. Imagine getting into a car without knowing where you're going. You might drive all day and still end up nowhere important. That's exactly how many people live. They stay busy, but they don't make progress. Instead, take 1 minute. Write down your 3 most important tasks. Not 20, just 3. These are your priorities. If everything else goes wrong, completing these 3 things still makes it a successful day. This removes decision fatigue. Instead of wondering what to do next, you already know. Your future self will thank you. But one final habit ties everything together, and it might be the most important one. Every day your brain consumes information. The question is, who chooses it? You or the algorithm? Instead of opening social media first, read a few pages of a good book, listen to an educational podcast, watch a short lesson, learn one new idea. Just one. Small pieces of knowledge compound over time. One page becomes a chapter. One chapter becomes a book. One book can change your life. Successful people often invest in their minds before entertaining themselves, because your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. Here's something surprising. Most people fail, not because their goals are too small, but because their habits are too inconsistent. Big changes look exciting. Tiny daily improvements look boring. But boring wins. Imagine improving by just 1% every day. It doesn't seem like much, but after months, those tiny improvements become huge. A giant tree begins as a tiny seed. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success started with one simple action. That's why habits matter more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Habits stay. Let's imagine 2 mornings. Person A wakes up, checks social media, stays in bed, rushes out the door, forgets breakfast, feels stressed all day. Person B wakes up, drinks water, moves for 5 minutes, sits quietly, plans the day, learns something new. Who do you think will have the better day? The difference isn't talent, it's routine. Morning habits don't guarantee success, but they make success much more likely. You don't have to start all 5 habits tomorrow. In fact, don't. Choose just one. Only one. Do it every morning for the next 7 days. When it becomes automatic, add another. Remember, your future isn't built in one dramatic moment. It's built in hundreds of tiny mornings. So, which habit will you start tomorrow? Let everyone know in the comments. I'd love to read your answers. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next simple guide to living a smarter, healthier, and more successful life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
What if everything you've been told about motivation is wrong? People say, wait until you feel motivated. But here's the problem. Motivation disappears. Some days you wake up excited. Other days, you don't even want to get out of bed. Yet somehow, the world's most successful people keep showing up anyway. So what's their secret? It's not motivation. It's discipline. And once you understand the difference, you'll never look at productivity the same way again. Imagine two people. Both decide they're going to get fit. On Monday, they buy new shoes. They watch inspiring videos. They feel unstoppable. On Tuesday, they go to the gym. Wednesday, they're still going. But by Friday, they're tired. Work was stressful. The weather isn't great. They skip one workout, then another. A month later, the gym membership is collecting dust. Sound familiar? That's motivation. It burns bright, but it burns out fast. Motivation is based on emotion, and emotions change all the time. If your success depends on how you feel, you're giving your future to something completely unpredictable. Here's something fascinating. Your brain is constantly trying to save energy. Thousands of years ago, that helped humans survive. Food was limited. Life was dangerous. Saving energy meant staying alive. Today, your brain still follows the same ancient programming. That's why scrolling social media feels easier than studying. Watching another episode feels easier than working out. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. It's just choosing the easiest option. Every single time, unless you train it differently. People love hearing success stories. I woke up inspired. I followed my passion. I believed in myself. But that's not what usually happens. The writer writes when ideas feel boring. The athlete trains while sore. The entrepreneur works when nothing seems to be improving. They don't rely on excitement. They rely on routine. The outside world sees talent. Behind the scenes, it's repetition. Again, and again, and again. Imagine there's another version of yourself. Today's you, and future you. Today's you wants comfort. Future you wants results. Today's you says, I'll start tomorrow. Future you quietly asks, how many tomorrows are left? Every decision is a vote. One workout won't transform your body. One chapter won't make you an expert. One healthy meal won't change your life. But thousands of tiny votes eventually decide who you become. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you wake up every morning overflowing with excitement? Probably not. You simply do it. No debate. No motivational speech. No dramatic countdown. It's automatic. That's the power of habit. The best disciplined people don't have stronger willpower. They've simply removed the decision. The action happens almost automatically. And that's much easier than convincing yourself every single day. Many people think discipline means having incredible self-control. Actually, research suggests willpower gets weaker throughout the day. Every decision costs mental energy. That's why making difficult choices at night often feels impossible. Successful people understand this. Instead of depending on willpower, they build systems. They prepare their gym clothes the night before. They schedule study time. They remove distractions. They make the right choice. The easiest choice. Discipline isn't about being stronger. It's about making failure harder. Here's a strange question. What's better? Doing 100 push-ups once, or doing 10 push-ups every day for a month? Most people chase huge bursts of effort. Disciplined people chase consistency. Tiny improvements seem invisible. Until one day, they aren't. Think about a snowball rolling downhill. It starts tiny, almost laughable, but it keeps rolling. Soon, it's impossible to stop. Success works exactly the same way. Here's one of the biggest mindset shifts you can make. Stop asking, "What should I do?" Start asking, "Who do I want to become?" Someone who runs. Someone who reads. Someone who keeps promises. Every action becomes evidence. If you skip today's workout, you're voting for being someone who quits. If you finish it, you're voting for becoming someone who follows through. Your identity isn't something you discover. It's something you build, one action at a time. This is the moment that changes everything. Not when you're excited, not when you're full of energy, not when everything is easy. The real test comes on the days you don't feel like doing anything. Those days are worth more. Why? Because every action proves you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You become someone who acts, regardless of feelings. That's real freedom. Imagine waiting for motivation before doing everything. You wait to study. You wait to exercise. You wait to start a business. You wait to learn a language. Years pass. Nothing changes. Now imagine someone else. They don't feel motivated either, but they begin anyway. One day at a time. 5 years later, the difference between those two people looks enormous. Not because one was smarter, not because one was luckier, because one kept moving, while the other kept waiting. So how do you actually become disciplined? Start ridiculously small. Want to read? Read 1 page. Want to exercise? Do 5 minutes. Want to write? Write 1 sentence. The goal isn't impressive progress. The goal is showing up. Protect your routine more than your motivation. Create an environment that helps you win. Keep distractions out of reach. Celebrate consistency, not perfection. And remember, missing 1 day isn't failure. Quitting is. Here's the truth. Motivation is a visitor. It comes. It goes. You can't control it. Discipline is different. It's a choice you make. Even when motivation never shows up. The people you admire aren't superhuman. They've simply learned to keep promises to themselves. Again and again, until success becomes unavoidable. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I don't feel motivated," ask a different question. What would a disciplined person do right now? Then, do exactly that. Because your future isn't built on your best days. It's built on the ordinary days, when nobody is watching. And those ordinary days change everything. If this video changed the way you think about motivation, hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos that help you build better habits, stronger discipline, and a better life. And tell us in the comments, what's one small habit you're committing to starting today? Your future self might thank you for it.
Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling confused, like somehow you apologized for something that wasn't your fault, or agreed to something you never wanted, or started doubting your own memory? What if I told you? Some people do this on purpose. Today, we're uncovering the hidden world of dark psychology. Not magic, not mind control, but real manipulation techniques people use every day. And more importantly, you'll learn exactly how to defend yourself. Because once you can see manipulation, it becomes much harder to fall for it. What is dark psychology? Let's clear up one thing first. Dark psychology isn't a secret science. It's a collection of psychological tactics used to influence, control, or exploit other people. Most of these techniques are based on normal human psychology. Our emotions, our habits, our need to belong. Manipulators don't control your mind. They simply know which buttons to push. The scary part, many people use these techniques without you even noticing. Let's look at the most common ones. Technique 1, gaslighting. Imagine this. You clearly remember someone saying something. Later, they smile and say, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." You're too sensitive. After hearing this enough times, you start questioning your own memory. That's called gaslighting. Its goal isn't winning one argument. It's making you stop trusting yourself. Once you doubt your own judgment, you become much easier to control. How to defend yourself? Write important conversations down. Save messages. Trust evidence more than someone's confidence. Remember, being confident doesn't mean being truthful. Technique 2, love bombing. At first, it feels amazing. Someone gives you endless compliments, constant attention, daily messages, expensive gifts. They act like you're the most incredible person they've ever met. Sounds romantic. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it's love bombing. The goal, create emotional dependence as fast as possible. Then, once you're attached, the affection suddenly disappears. Now you're constantly trying to earn back the person they used to be. You're chasing a version of them that may never have been real. Defense. Healthy relationships grow slowly. Real trust takes time. If someone's intensity feels overwhelming, slow down. Healthy people respect your pace. Technique 3, guilt tripping. Have you ever heard something like, "If you really cared about me, after everything I've done for you, I guess I'll just suffer alone"? Notice something. They're not asking. They're making you feel guilty. Instead of discussing the issue directly, they attack your emotions because guilt is one of the strongest motivators humans have. Defense. Ask yourself one simple question. Am I helping because I want to, or because I feel trapped? Healthy requests allow you to say no. Manipulation makes no feel impossible. Technique 4, fear and urgency. Ever seen this? Only 5 minutes left. Last chance. Everyone else already agreed. Manipulators love urgency. Why? Because people make worse decisions under pressure. When we're rushed, our brain switches from careful thinking to emotional reactions. That's exactly what manipulators want. Defense. Whenever someone demands an immediate decision, pause. Even 5 extra minutes can completely change your perspective. Pressure is often a warning sign. Technique 5, playing the victim. Sometimes the manipulator never looks like the bad guy. Instead, they're always the victim. Every failed relationship, someone else's fault. Every argument, someone attacked them. Every mistake, someone forced them. Over time, you become their rescuer. You spend all your energy fixing problems they never take responsibility for. Defense. Compassion is important, but so is accountability. Ask yourself, does this person ever admit mistakes, or is everyone else always the villain? Technique 6, isolation. Manipulators rarely attack you directly at first. Instead, they quietly separate you from other people. They might say, "I don't think your friends really care about you. Your family doesn't understand us." They're jealous. Little by little, your support system disappears. And once you're isolated, the manipulator becomes your main source of information and validation. That's exactly what they want. Defense. Stay connected. Talk to trusted friends. Outside opinions help you notice things you can't see from inside the situation. Quick story. Imagine 2 coworkers. Alex starts working with Jordan. At first, Jordan praises every idea Alex has. Alex feels appreciated. A few weeks later, the compliments stop. Jordan starts saying, "I never told you to do that. You misunderstood. You should trust me instead." Soon, Alex doubts every decision, works longer hours, apologizes constantly, and tries even harder to earn Jordan's approval. Nothing magical happened, just several manipulation techniques stacked together. That's how dark psychology usually works. Not one huge trick, lots of small ones. Why do these tricks work? Here's the surprising part. These techniques don't work because people are weak. They work because people are human. We want acceptance. We avoid conflict. We trust confident people. We like helping others. Manipulators simply exploit normal human instincts. That's why anyone can become a target, even intelligent people, especially intelligent people who assume they're immune. The biggest mistake people make. Most people think manipulation always looks obvious. An evil smile, a dramatic speech, a clear villain. Real life is rarely like that. Manipulation often sounds reasonable. It feels subtle. It happens slowly, like water heating 1 degree at a time. You don't notice the change until you're already boiling. That's why awareness is your greatest defense. Let's put everything together. First, slow down important decisions. Manipulation loves speed. Second, trust patterns, not promises. People reveal themselves through repeated actions. Third, keep strong relationships outside one single person. Isolation creates vulnerability. Fourth, listen to your discomfort. If something consistently feels wrong, explore why. Your intuition isn't always correct, but it deserves attention. And finally, practice saying one simple word, no, without long explanations, without guilt. Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulators usually fight them. Can manipulation be unintentional? Absolutely. Not everyone using these behaviors is a master manipulator. Sometimes people guilt trip because they learned it growing up. Sometimes they become defensive. Sometimes they're emotionally immature. Intent matters, but impact matters too. Whether manipulation is intentional or not, healthy boundaries are still necessary. Dark psychology sounds mysterious, but in reality, it's mostly about understanding human behavior. The more you understand yourself, the harder you become to manipulate. Confidence isn't knowing every trick. It's trusting your own judgment, asking questions, taking your time, and refusing to let fear, guilt, or confusion make your decisions. Because the strongest defense isn't becoming suspicious of everyone. It's becoming aware of yourself. Now I'm curious, which manipulation technique surprised you the most? Or have you ever recognized one of these in real life? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want more psychology, self-improvement, and fascinating human behavior explained with simple MS Paint style animations, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. And remember, the moment you recognize manipulation, it starts losing its power.
Imagine walking into a room. Nobody knows your name. You don't have expensive clothes. You don't have a fancy job title. But somehow, within just a few minutes, people naturally respect you. How? Here's the surprising part. Respect isn't something people give because you're rich, famous, or loud. Your brain decides who deserves respect in just seconds. And tiny psychological signals can completely change that decision. Today, you'll learn 5 simple tricks that instantly make people see you differently. The last one is surprisingly powerful, and most people accidentally do the exact opposite. Let's begin. Respect versus being liked. Before we start, let's clear up one huge misunderstanding. Being liked and being respected are not the same thing. Imagine two coworkers. One says yes to everything. They never disagree. Everyone thinks they're nice, but nobody really listens to them. Now imagine another coworker. They're polite, calm. They don't try to please everyone. When they speak, people stop talking. That's respect. Psychologists have found that people naturally admire confidence, consistency, and emotional control, not constant approval seeking. So let's look at the first trick. Trick 1, become comfortable with silence. Imagine someone asks you a question. Instead of answering immediately, you pause, just for 2 seconds. Then you answer calmly. It feels strange. Most people rush to fill silence because silence makes them uncomfortable. But confident people don't fear silence. Lawyers use it. Negotiators use it. Interviewers use it. Silence creates psychological pressure. The other person starts paying closer attention. Your words suddenly feel more important. Think about movie villains. Why do they always pause before speaking? Because silence creates authority. Now, don't stare awkwardly for 30 seconds. That's creepy. But a short pause, before answering, or after making an important point, makes you seem thoughtful instead of nervous. Tiny change, huge difference. But here's something even stronger. Trick 2, stop explaining yourself too much. Imagine you're 5 minutes late. Most people say something like, "I'm so sorry. There was traffic, then I couldn't find parking, then my phone died." Notice what happens. The explanation keeps getting longer. Why? Because people think more words equal more trust. Actually, the opposite often happens. Over-explaining makes you look uncertain. Confident people give simple explanations. "I'm sorry I'm late. Thanks for waiting." Then they move on. That's it. The same thing happens when saying no. Instead of, "I can't because I'm really busy and my cousin is visiting," and just say, "I can't make it today." Simple, clear. Respect grows when your words feel intentional, not defensive. But this next trick changes how people see your confidence before you even speak. Trick 3, own your space. Have you noticed something about confident people? They rarely rush. They don't constantly fidget. They don't keep checking their phone every 5 seconds. They move with purpose. Your body tells a story before your mouth ever opens. Imagine two people waiting in line. One keeps looking around, touches their face, crosses and uncrosses their arms, checks their phone, looks nervous. The other simply stands comfortably. Relaxed shoulders, steady breathing, calm movements. Who seems more confident? Probably the second person. Psychologists call this nonverbal communication. People trust body language far more than words. You don't need to act like a superhero. Just slow down slightly. Walk normally. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Make natural eye contact. Use controlled gestures. Your brain actually starts feeling calmer too. It's like your body sends confidence back to your mind. But confidence alone isn't enough. Because respect disappears instantly if people think you're emotionally unstable. That's where trick number 4 comes in. Trick 4, control your emotional reactions. Imagine someone insults you. Most people react immediately. They argue, raise their voice, get defensive. But emotionally strong people often do something unexpected. Almost nothing, at least not immediately. Think about it. If someone can control your emotions, they're controlling you. That's why emotional control is powerful. Imagine someone says, "That's a terrible idea." Instead of arguing, you calmly ask, "What makes you think that?" Suddenly, the conversation changes. Instead of reacting emotionally, you're leading it. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means choosing your response instead of letting your emotions choose for you. People naturally respect those who stay calm under pressure, because calmness signals strength. And now, the final trick. It's the simplest one, but it changes everything. Trick 5, speak less, say more. Have you ever noticed? The loudest person in the room isn't always the most respected. Sometimes, they're the least respected. People often think talking more makes them look smarter. But research shows something interesting. People who speak clearly, briefly, and only when they have something valuable to add, often appear more intelligent. Imagine two people in a meeting. The first talks constantly, repeats themselves, interrupts others. The second listens carefully, then says one thoughtful sentence. Guess whose opinion people remember? Exactly. Listening is actually a power move. When people feel heard, they automatically value your attention. And when you finally speak, everyone listens. It's psychological scarcity. The less available something is, the more valuable it feels. The same applies to your words. Putting it all together. Let's imagine your next conversation. Someone asks you a difficult question. Instead of rushing, you pause. You answer simply. No long explanations. You stand comfortably. You stay calm even if someone disagrees. You listen more than you speak. None of these actions are dramatic. Nobody notices them individually. But together, they completely change the way people see you. Respect isn't built from one giant moment. It's built from dozens of tiny signals. Signals your brain sends every single day. Here's the biggest lesson. Respect isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's not about acting dominant or intimidating people. Real respect comes from emotional stability, quiet confidence, and treating both yourself and others with dignity. The amazing part, every trick you learn today can be practiced immediately. At work, at school, with friends, even with strangers. Small habits, big results. So, which of these 5 tricks surprised you the most? Let everyone know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want more psychology, self-improvement, and mind-blowing facts explained with fun MS Paint-style animations, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the strongest person in the room is the calmest one.
Imagine two people. One wakes up at 5 a.m. because there's a $1,000 reward waiting at the finish line. The other wakes up at 5 a.m. Even if nobody is watching, no reward, no applause, no money. Now here's the weird part. Months later, the first person quits. The second person is still going. Why? What makes one kind of motivation disappear, while another seems almost impossible to stop? Today, we're diving into the hidden battle between extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation, and by the end of this video, you might completely change the way you chase your goals. Let's start with a simple question. Why do you do the things you do? Why study? Why work? Why exercise? Why learn a new skill? Your answer probably falls into one of 2 categories. Either you do it because you enjoy it, or you do it because you expect something in return. That's the entire difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Simple idea, massive consequences. Let's meet Alex. Alex hates running. Every step feels painful. But his company announces a fitness competition. Whoever runs the most miles wins a vacation. Suddenly, Alex becomes a running machine. Every morning, every evening, he tracks every mile. He's incredibly motivated. Until the competition ends. A week later, his running shoes collect dust. The motivation disappeared almost overnight. Why? Because it was borrowed motivation. It came from the outside. Now meet Maya. She's to collect. Your brain releases dopamine. It feels amazing. So naturally, you want more. This is why reward systems can work incredibly well, at least in the beginning. Companies use bonuses, schools use grades, apps give badges, games hand out achievements, even social media gives likes. They're all designed to keep you engaged, and honestly, they're pretty effective. But there's a catch. Imagine your favorite hobby. Maybe it's playing guitar, maybe drawing, maybe reading. Now imagine someone starts paying you every single time you do it. Sounds great, right? But researchers found something surprising. Sometimes, people actually enjoy the activity less after rewards become the main reason for doing it. Psychologists call this the overjustification effect. When the external reward becomes the focus, the original joy slowly fades away. It's like replacing curiosity with a paycheck. Think about little kids. Many love drawing. They don't care if the picture is perfect. They simply enjoy creating. Now imagine giving a prize for every drawing. Soon, some kids stop drawing unless there's a reward waiting. The activity hasn't changed, only the reason for doing it. And somehow, that changes everything. Does that mean rewards are bad? Not at all. Extrinsic motivation can be incredibly powerful. Imagine you're trying to build a new habit, like exercising. At first, you probably won't enjoy it. A reward can help you survive those difficult first weeks. Maybe you promise yourself your favorite coffee after every workout, or you use a habit tracker, or you save money for reaching milestones. External rewards can help you get started. The real danger comes when they become the only reason you continue. Let's look at professional athletes. Many begin because they simply love the sport. Playing feels fun, winning is exciting, improving feels satisfying. Later, money enters the picture, sponsors and contracts, fame, pressure. Some athletes stay passionate, others begin feeling trapped. The same sport they once loved starts feeling like a job. Nothing changed physically, everything changed psychologically. Here's an interesting experiment. Imagine someone offers you $10 every time you read a book. At first, you'll probably read more. Now imagine they suddenly stop paying you. Would you keep reading? Maybe. Maybe not. But someone who reads because they genuinely love learning needs no payment at all. The behavior survives because the reason survives. This explains something many people struggle with. New Year's resolutions? People buy expensive gym memberships. They promise themselves huge rewards. They're excited for about 3 weeks. Then motivation disappears, not because they're lazy, because excitement is temporary. External rewards lose their magic surprisingly fast. Habits built only on excitement usually collapse when life gets busy. So, is intrinsic motivation the secret to success? Not exactly. Here's the problem. You can't magically decide to enjoy something. Nobody wakes up saying, "I now love doing taxes." Intrinsic motivation often grows after you become skilled, not before. This surprises a lot of people. Enjoyment often follows progress, not the other way around. Think about riding a bicycle. The first day? Frustrating. You fall, you wobble. It's exhausting. A few weeks later, you're flying down the street with a huge smile. The activity didn't become easier overnight. You became better. Competence creates confidence. Confidence creates enjoyment. Enjoyment creates intrinsic motivation. Psychologists have discovered 3 powerful ingredients that help intrinsic motivation grow. First, autonomy. People like choosing what they do, not being forced. Second, mastery. Watching yourself improve feels deeply satisfying. Third, purpose. Believing your actions actually matter. When these 3 come together, motivation becomes much harder to break. Let's compare 2 students. Student A studies only to avoid failing. Student B studies because solving problems feels rewarding. Both may get good grades, but years later, who's more likely to keep learning? Usually, the one driven by curiosity, because curiosity doesn't expire after graduation. Here's another surprising truth. The world's most successful people aren't motivated every day. They simply don't rely on motivation alone. They build systems, habits, schedules, routines. Some days they feel inspired, other days they don't, but they keep going anyway. Eventually, the routine becomes part of their identity. That's where lasting motivation often begins. So what should you do? Don't reject external rewards. Use them wisely. Let them help you start. But while you're building the habit, look for something deeper. Find a part of the process you genuinely enjoy. Celebrate improvement. Notice your progress. Connect your actions to a bigger purpose. Because eventually, the goal isn't chasing rewards. It's becoming someone who naturally does the thing. Let's go back to the 2 people from the beginning. One chased the reward. The other learned to love the journey. The reward disappeared. The journey remained. And that's why one kept moving, long after everyone else had stopped. Maybe the question isn't, how can I stay motivated? Maybe it's, how can I build a life where I don't need motivation as often? That tiny shift can change everything. So, which motivation actually lasts? Extrinsic motivation is great for getting started. Intrinsic motivation is what keeps you going. The smartest strategy isn't choosing one over the other. It's using external rewards as a bridge until the activity itself becomes rewarding, because in the end, the strongest fuel isn't money or praise or trophies. It's waking up every morning, wanting to do the work anyway. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button so more people can discover it. Subscribe for more psychology, productivity, and self-improvement videos explained with simple MS Paint-style animations. And tell us in the comments, what motivates you more, external rewards or the satisfaction of the journey itself? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Imagine waking up with 20 things to do. You answer emails.
You reply to messages.
You scroll through notifications. You finish a few tiny tasks. At the end of the day, you feel exhausted. But somehow, the most important thing is still unfinished. Why does this happen? Because being busy is not the same as being productive. And one simple method used by presidents, CEOs, and successful people can completely change how you work. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix. Picture your brain like a messy bedroom. Everything is lying on the floor. Homework, laundry, books, food, clothes. Nothing is organized. Now imagine trying to find your keys. It's frustrating. That's exactly what happens when every task in your life feels equally important. Your brain starts treating everything like an emergency. And that's where stress begins. The Eisenhower Matrix was inspired by Dwight D. Eisenhower. He served as a general during World War II. Later, he became President of the United States. He constantly had thousands of decisions to make. One day, he shared an idea that became famous. What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. At first, that sounds confusing, but once you understand it, you'll never look at your to-do list the same way again. Imagine a simple square, now divided into 4 smaller squares. That's it. No complicated app, no expensive planner. Just 4 boxes. Every task in your life belongs in one of them. And each box tells you exactly what to do. The first box is urgent and important. These are emergencies, deadlines, crises, problems that need attention right now. Imagine your house is on fire. You don't schedule it for next Tuesday. You deal with it immediately. Examples include finishing a project due today, going to the hospital, fixing a major mistake before a meeting. These tasks deserve your attention first. But here's something interesting. If your entire day is filled with emergencies, something has already gone wrong. Many emergencies started as small tasks that were ignored. That's an important clue. We'll come back to it later. The second box is where successful people spend most of their time. Important, but not urgent. This is the magic box. Exercise, learning, planning, reading, building relationships, practicing new skills, saving money, healthy eating. None of these scream for attention today, but they completely change your future. Think about brushing your teeth. Skipping one day doesn't seem like a big deal. Skip for years. Now you have a huge problem. The same thing happens with almost everything in life. Health, money, career, friendships. Tiny actions today prevent giant problems tomorrow.
Here's the funny part.
Your brain doesn't naturally enjoy this box. Watching another video feels easier. Checking your phone feels more exciting.
Doing nothing feels comfortable.
The rewards from important work come later. Our brains love rewards now. That's why this box is often ignored. And that's exactly why so many people live in constant stress. They avoid important work. Eventually, those tasks become urgent. Now they're panicking. The deadline arrives. The exam is tomorrow. The bills are due. The project is late. Today's emergency was yesterday's opportunity. The third box is
Urgent?
but not important. This one tricks almost everyone. Someone calls, notifications appear, random meetings, interruptions, other people's priorities.
They demand attention immediately.
But they don't actually move your life forward. Imagine you're writing an important report. Suddenly, your phone buzzes. A message says, "Can you help me with something really quick?"
10 minutes later,
You're watching cat videos. Your report hasn't moved an inch. Urgency stole your focus. This doesn't mean helping others is bad. Sometimes these tasks matter, but many of them can be delegated, delayed, or politely declined. Learning to say no is one of the biggest productivity superpowers. Finally, the fourth box, not urgent.
not important.
This is where time quietly disappears. Mindless scrolling, watching random videos for hours, refreshing social media every 5 minutes, arguing with strangers online. None of these help your goals, yet they're surprisingly addictive. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every pointless activity adds another rock. One rock doesn't seem heavy, neither do 5, but after a while, you're carrying 50 pounds and wondering why life feels exhausting. Now let's see how the 4 boxes work together. Imagine you're planning your day. Exercise, finish taxes, answer emails, watch TV, study for an exam next month. Your first instinct might be to do the easiest task first, but the matrix tells a different story. Finish taxes. Urgent and important. Do it now. Study for next month's exam. Important but not urgent. Schedule it. Answer emails. Urgent but maybe not important. Limit the time. Watch TV. Not urgent, not important. Enjoy it only after everything else is handled. Suddenly,
Your day has structure.
here's where most people make a huge mistake. They spend almost their entire day in box 3. Busy, busy, busy. Meetings, calls, emails, notifications. They feel productive, but they're simply reacting, not creating. Imagine 2 workers. Both stay busy for 8 hours. The first answers messages all day. The second spends 3 focused hours building a new skill. 5 years later. Who has changed more? The difference isn't effort. It's priority. Successful people don't necessarily work longer. They protect important work. Many block time on their calendar. They silence notifications, close unnecessary tabs, turn off their phones. Because deep work requires uninterrupted attention. Here's a surprising fact. Most productivity problems aren't caused by laziness. They're caused by confusion. When everything feels important, nothing actually is. The matrix removes that confusion. Every task gets one clear home. Let's try a quick challenge. Imagine your current to-do list. Don't overthink.
Pick 3 tasks.
Now ask 2 simple questions. Is it important? Is it urgent? That's it. Immediately. Each task lands inside one of the 4 boxes. Decision made. You might notice something surprising. Many tasks you've been worrying about don't belong in the first box. Some don't belong anywhere near your attention. That's incredibly freeing. The goal isn't eliminating work. The goal is protecting your future. Every hour spent in the important but not urgent box is an investment. It quietly builds a healthier, smarter,
Stronger version of you?
long before anyone notices.
Imagine planting a tree.
The first week, nothing exciting happens. The first month, still nothing impressive. Years later, you finally enjoy the shade. Important work often feels invisible, until one day.
Everyone asks how you became so successful.
The Eisenhower matrix isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters. Busy people finish tasks. Productive people finish the right tasks. And that tiny difference changes everything. So here's your challenge. Tonight, take a blank sheet of paper. Draw one simple square. Divide it into 4 boxes. Write every task where it truly belongs. Then spend tomorrow protecting box 2. You might be amazed by how different your day feels. Remember, urgent isn't always important. Important isn't always urgent. The people who understand that simple idea gain an enormous advantage.
So,
Which box do you spend most of your time in?
let us know in the comments.
If you enjoyed this simple MS Paint style explanation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos that make psychology, productivity, and self-improvement simple and fun. Thanks for watching. And remember,
Your future isn't built by what screams the loudest.
it's built by what matters the most.
A stick figure looks into a mirror. The reflection is energetic and confident, while the real version looks tired and messy. What if your life looked completely different, just 30 days from now? Not because you won the lottery, not because you got lucky, but because you became a different person. Here's something most people never realize. Your future isn't built by giant life-changing moments. It's built by tiny choices you repeat every day. And today, I'm going to show you a simple 30-day system that can completely reinvent the way you think, act, and live. The best part? You don't need more motivation. You just need a better strategy. Let's begin. Stick figure writes, "New year, new me." Then immediately lies on the couch eating chips. Have you ever promised yourself, "I'm going to change. I'm finally going to work out. I'm going to stop procrastinating"? For a few days, everything feels amazing. Then life happens. You skip one workout. One productive day turns into 3 lazy ones. And suddenly you're back where you started. Why? Because most people try to change their actions without changing their identity. That's like painting a broken wall instead of fixing the foundation. Real reinvention starts inside, not outside. 2 paths appear. One leads to a successful future version. The